Good morning, everyone. My name is Alicia Cruz. I am a Google certified level 1 and level 2 educator. In today's session, we are going to be learning about Google Form. So, Google Form basically is a tool which will help us make our evaluation easier, and also it helps you to simplify your work, and your evaluation will be completed within a shorter period of time. Google Form is more suitable when it comes to objective type of questions, although subjective questions can also be added into the Google Form. With objective type of questions, you do not have to sit and check the whole answer. It's automatically evaluated for you. Also, you get to know the statistics of the whole class. You get to know in which particular question the class has performed well, in which particular question the class has not done well, and also the average of the class is what you come to know. So without So let us quickly see how exactly you access Google Form, and what are the different things that you need to keep in mind when you're making a Google Form. So basically certain pointers which will help us to simplify our work, and will also help us to be more tech savvy, and make our work simpler and easier. So I'm quickly going to share my screen and show you all how to use the Google Form, how to access Google Form. So I'll share my window. There are three ways in which you can access Google Form. Okay, I'll show you all three ways, and then we will move on to how to use the form. So I guess my screen is visible to everyone. So the first way is you go to the waffle, which is there on the right hand side corner of your screen. So you click on the waffle, you scroll down, and you see forms. So this is the first way you use Google Form. So this is the page that will load, and then we can go to blank and we can see which form you have to use. The another way is you go to the waffle, you go to Drive. After the Google Drive opens, on the left hand side options, you have an option called as new, a plus sign and new. You click on that. There's internet lag, so it is taking little time. So you click on new, and then you'll see a lot of options coming down: file upload, file folder upload. This is what we have already seen in the earlier sessions. Today we'll be only focusing on the Google form, so let us see what exactly you get. So there'll be options coming here, and you can use those options. So Google form, and the Google form opens for you. And the third and the last way is in the omnibar you type forms.google.com. So when you type forms.google.com, your Google form page will be loading. So these are the three ways in which you can access the form. I'll close the other tabs, and let's only focus on the Google form which has opened. Okay, so now if you look at this page, uh, there is blank, there is event feedback, contact information, RSVP, party invite. So there's a template gallery over here. This template gallery basically gives you certain forms which are already there. For example, if I click on the event feedback over here, the form is readily available. You have conducted some event in the school, and now you want to take a feedback of that particular event. You can click on event feedback. So it is asking you how satisfied were you with the event. So you can use the same form as it is by just adding name and email ID of the person, and then it basically helps you to use the form directly without actually making the form. Another way, when you're going to assess the students for the exam, we can use a quiz directly, or you can go to blank. So I click on blank, the plus sign. So my form opens up. The first and the most important thing as soon as I open the form is to name the form. So I'm going to name the form. I'm going to name it as trial uh, 1. Okay, let's name it as trial 1. So when I click here, trial 1, same thing comes over here. Form description, in case you have to give certain instructions to the students. For example, I'm going to say all questions are compulsory. Okay, so I'm going to take a test with students and I'm going to tell them that all questions are compulsory. So I'll put my instructions here, or I can say all questions carry 1 mark. Any of the instructions that you need to give, you can put it there. Since this is going to be an assessment, we need the name of the student. So I'm going to put the first option as name. So on the right hand side, if you could see, multiple choice directly changed to short answer. So I click on this. I have different options: a short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox. I'm going to show you all how all these are to be used. So for name, I've put it as short answer. I'm going to make this required. So if I make this required, unless and until the child is putting their name, they can't submit the form. So I have put name. Next, I'm going to put class and section. Over here, although I can put a short answer, I'm going to make a specific format for them. Otherwise, when I'm going to sort the sheet, it actually becomes little difficult to sort the sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it multiple choice. So for example, I'm taking test for class 8. So I'm going to put it as 8A. I'll put enter. I get option 2. I'm going to put it as 8B. Again, I'll enter and 8C. So now the child has to select between 8A, B and C. Required is already there. So I'm going to duplicate this again. And now I'm going to put roll number. If you have very few students in the class, you can select the option from here and you can give them the drop down option. So if I give them drop down option, I'll put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and the child has to select their own roll number. uh, Generally we have around 30 to 40 students in the class, so I'm going to make it short answer. So when it's a short answer, the child has to put their roll number. Now let's quickly see how our form will be seen, whatever we have done till now. So I click on this I option. So name, section, roll number. These are the three things that we have done till now. So here the child will select whether the child belongs to 8A, whether the child belongs to 8B or 8C, and the roll number of the child. Let's close this and now we move to the question. So let's move to the questions. So this form can be used for any subject. Okay, it's up to us how we want this to be done. Let's take the chapter to be cell. So I'm going to frame my first question. Which cell organelle is called as powerhouse of the cell? So I'm going to give them the options. So I will say nucleus. Okay, then I'll say mitochondria. Then I'll say Golgi body. And my fourth option will be vacuole. Now my correct answer here is going to be mitochondria. So how do I ensure that my answer is already marked? So in order to make this into a quiz, we'll have to change the settings. So how do we change the settings? We go to settings. You click on this option, make this a quiz. When you make this a quiz, now if you see, I go down to the question, it's showing here 0 points. So I click on this question and it will give me the option to mark the answer. So my answer here is mitochondria. Okay, I'm not getting that option. Just give me a minute. So I go to settings. Okay, I've got the option here. So I click on answer key. I'll click on mitochondria. I'll make this 1 point and I say done. So my answer is already marked. So when the students are going to be writing their answers, it will automatically mark them. So if they select any other option such as nucleus or Golgi body or vacuole, it will be marked wrong. If they select mitochondria as the answer, 1 point will be added to their score. Now if I want to add a diagram based question, okay, so which identify the given cell organelle. So identify the given cell organelle. I'm going to keep the options same so that our work is simpler. Okay, and I'm going to put the diagram of nucleus. So how do I do that? You can see image option here. I'll click on the image option. If I have the image already present on the desktop of my device, I can go to upload. I'll click on browse and I'll upload it. If I want to put URL, I can put the URL. So basically, in order to put the URL, I'll go to a new tab. I'll put nucleus. I'll go to images. If I want, let's take this image. So I'll click on this image. I'll open the image in a new tab. I'll select this link, Control C. I'll come here. I'll paste the URL here. Okay, this URL is not valid. So it is not taking this URL. So let's look for another image. Open image in new tab. Okay, this image should work. So I'm going to take this. I'll delete the earlier one. I'm going to paste this. See, the image has come. So I go to insert image. So my image will come here. Another way of inserting image, I'll delete this now and I'll show you the another way. I click on this option. Instead of going by URL, I go to my drive. I take the image from my drive if it is already there in my drive, or I go directly to Google search. So I go to Google image search. I go to nucleus and I select the image that I want. For example, I want to take this image. I'll click on it. I'll click on insert. So my image has come and now I'll change my answer. So I'll go here, answer key. I'll click on nucleus as the answer. I'll remove mitochondria and I'm going to save this. If you go up here on the right hand side, we have added two questions. So total points shown here is 2. So as I keep adding my questions, my total points is going to change. Now, what if you have a question where two answers are possible? So let's take a question like that. So I'll remove this. I'm going to put my question as name two which of the following cell organelles have their own genetic material. ठीक है. Now I can give the options as nucleus and mitochondria, or I can give the option as plastids and uh, uh, mitochondria and plastid, or any of the options I can give, where one set of options is correct. But I don't want to give two options. I want them to select. So what I can do is, instead of multiple choice, I'll go to check boxes. So whenever there is a circle like this, it says multiple choice question, only one correct answer is possible. Whenever you see check boxes, that is boxes over here, in this case, there can be more than one correct answer. So I'll click on the answer key. Nucleus and mitochondria is correct. So I'm going to click on both and I'm going to see it as done. So now I have three questions being added here. Let's go to the next question. Now, which is the next possible option that we have? We saw what is multiple choice. We saw what is short answer, paragraph, drop down. And now we go to multiple choice and grid checkbox. So if I go to multiple choice questions. So when we go to multiple choice questions, you have match the following type of questions. So I can say match the following. Okay. In row one, I'm going to add nucleus. I'm going to add mitochondria. I'll add ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Let's make it RER. Okay, RER. And I'm making the fourth one as SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Over here, I'm going to write down anything related to it. So if I say protein synthesis, protein synthesis is associated with RER. Then I'll say lipid synthesis. Okay. Then I say contains DNA, that is nucleus, and produces energy is mitochondria. Okay. So I have added column, I have added option. If you see in answer key, it is showing me 4 points because the students are going to select 4 correct answers. So now I go to answer key and I'm going to mark my answers. This is how the students will be able to see it. So if I say nucleus, the correct answer has to be contains DNA. Okay, so I'll remove the other options. Mitochondria, the correct answer has to be produces energy. So for that correct answer, they are going to get 1 mark. RER is going to be protein synthesis and SER is going to be lipid synthesis. So this is how I have marked my answers. So I can change the marks here. I can make it 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, depending upon how I want it. But I want all these questions to be 1 mark questions. So I'm going to do this. So I'll say done. So now 4, 5, 6, 7. We have added 4 questions in total. So let's see what the total is showing. It's showing total 7 points. So now if I go to preview, it is going to collect the email ID automatically. It is going to show the name. It is going to show the class section, the roll number. In this type of questions, I'll mark the answer. So this is my answer. Then over here, nucleus. And then here there is more than one possible answer because there are boxes. So nucleus and mitochondria. I've marked the answer. Over here, this is a checkbox type of question. So I will say nucleus contains DNA. Then I'll say mitochondria produces energy. Then I'll say protein synthesis and lipid synthesis. Now, if I want to submit, I can submit my response. but it will not allow me to submit because I have not added my email ID, I have not added my name, which are compulsory questions. Okay? So we have to ensure that all the fields are solved. Only then you will be able to uh, submit that particular question. If you want to go through the form again, if you want to go through the answers again, you can add subjective type of questions. When you're adding subjective type of questions, it actually makes the you have to go through the answers again, because in subjective type of questions you can only add certain keywords, and the sentence case or the lower case, all these things matter a lot when you're writing the answer. For example, if my answer is ribosome and I have written the term as capital R and then ribosome, and the students are writing it in all small letters, or the students are writing it on all capital letters, it can take the answer wrong, so the students will get that particular answer wrong. So we need to be careful with that. Now, if I want to divide my whole, if I want to add question, I either go to duplicate and add it, or I can click on this option and add it. So it will give me the option for new question. I'm going to delete it now because we don't want it. So I'll delete it here. The other option is to import questions. So if you have questions already on a particular doc, you can use import questions, and you can add your questions here. So the same questions will get copied here. This is to add a title and description. So for example, if I'm going to add a new section now, so I'll say this is part B of the Google form. Now these questions carry 2 marks. I can add my instructions like that. I can add an image directly from here. I can add a video. So if I'm going to add a video, I'll go to add video, either search a video or go to URL, paste the URL. So if I say parts of a cell, I'll click on search. Let's take the first video only. Then I'll select. The video will get inserted here, if you can see, and then I can put a question. Please go through the video and answer the questions that follow. So you can do it like this also. You give them a video link, and they'll go through the video and then they'll answer the question. So if you want to see how the students will be able to see this video, let's go to preview. We go to preview. We'll scroll down. This is how the students can see it. So students will click on this and the video will open for them. Okay, so using Google Form actually simplifies a lot of your work. If you want to divide the whole form into sections, for example, I want to add a section here. Okay, I'll click on this add section. So what will happen is, so section 1 is going to have my details, that is your email ID, name, and all the things. And section B is going to have the questions. So if you want to have section A, section B, section C, and section D in your Google form, it is possible for you to do that also. So how do sections appear in the preview, or how do students get to see the sections? So again, I'll go on view option, the I option. I'll have to put my email ID. So I'll put my email ID. Then I go to name. Let's put it ABC. Then I go to class section 8C. Let's take the roll number as 10. Then I get the option next. So I go to next. Then in the next, again, I have to select the answers. Since I had already selected it earlier, it has auto saved it for me. So I'm going to select the answers. I'm going to go to next because I had added one more section there. And now finally I go to submit. So when the response is submitted, the students will get a message, your response has been recorded. But if you want to make it interesting for students and you want to tell them that I'm very happy with your performance, good attempt, or anything of that, you can do that also. So now, since I had kept the option as later after manual review, I did not get my score. So if you don't want to reveal the scores to the students, you go to settings, you go to the option later after manual review. So later on, after you go through all the responses and you ensure that everything is fine, you can release the score. If it is just a class test and you want the students to know what exactly their score is, you can click on immediately after each submission. And as soon as the students click on submit button, they get an option view score and they'll be able to see what their score is. You can allow the students to see what are the missed questions. You can allow the students to see what are the correct answers, and you can tell them what are the point values. If you don't want the students to see what is the correct answer, you can just click on this and it will not give that option. When you get the responses, uh, you can collect the email address directly. So if you keep this option on, you can collect the email IDs. So you know which email ID a particular child has used to submit their responses. Uh, if it is a test, you don't want the students to edit their responses after it has been submitted, then you will keep this option off. Limit to one response. Generally, during the test, we keep it on so that the students don't get an attempt to do the form again. And only in one trial, whatever the option they have marked will be marked correct. This is the place where you can change the option. So here, by default, it says your response has been recorded. If you want, you can change it to well done, or I'm happy with your performance, or I'm sure you will be able to do much better. Anything that you want, you can save it, but you can't customize this for each child. So it has to be common for everyone. So depending upon how you want that feedback to be given, you can add a message for the students there. Disable autosave for your respondents. So if you switch this on, and the student has marked few answers, then there was some internet lag, and or the child accidentally closed the tab, then all his answers that have been marked till now will go. So in order to avoid that, you can keep this off. So automatically, when a child is clicking on any particular answer, even if the child is losing that particular page, or accidentally the child is closing that particular tab, next time when the child opens it, all the answers will be automatically saved. So these are some of the settings that we need to keep in mind. Now let's go to responses. When I get the responses, if I just scroll down, I can get a question wise response, I can get the whole summary, I can get question wise response, and I can get individual response. So the name of the student and the responses. So it's up to me how I want it. So if I go to summary, it tells me what exactly are the correct answers, and if I'm going to see sections, कौन से section में से कितने बच्चों ने attempt किया है. So there are different colors here. So since I have only attempted this Google form, it will show HC and one color. But if there are many sections who are attempting it, you get a statistics. How many students have got a particular answer right or wrong? That is also what we come to know. So here, red is mitochondria. So all students have selected mitochondria as the answer, or 7% students selected nucleus. So we know that out of the whole lot, 7% students are the ones who have not understood a particular concept. So if you see, it's showing here nucleus 0, Golgi body 0, vacuole 0. So it gives you the entire statistics of how many students have selected the answer. Now, if you want to get the scores of the students, doing like this is actually very difficult. So you get a sheet option here. So you click on create spreadsheet. If you have made copies of Google form, one for 8A, one for 8B, one for 8C, then you can keep clicking select existing spreadsheet. If you're going to open the spreadsheet for the first time, you will go to create. A new spreadsheet will open and it will give you the whole summary. So this is the score of the student. So it tells you how much the child has scored, at what time the child has submitted the response. So if you have kept a time bound test, there are certain extensions that you can use where you can fix the time slot, or else the other option is you check the timestamp. If I have given a time limit of 10 o'clock for the students to submit the answers, any response that is coming after 10, I can just look at it and I can tell the students that you have submitted it late. This is the score option. So I know that a child has scored 7 out of 7. When I go further, I can also see which question the child has not attempted, or in which particular question the child has gone wrong. So all these details can be seen here. So this basically is giving you the whole summary, and based on the responses, you can sort the sheet according to roll number. So you go to roll number, you go to data, and you go to sort sheet. It gives you the option sort sheet by column or what. So since I have only one entry, it's actually difficult. But if I go to sort sheet by A to Z, then roll number 1 to 10 will be shown in the whole sequence. So this is basically how you use a Google form, and how the responses are collected. It's a very effective tool which helps you to get a detailed feedback about the child, a detailed feedback about the class, and also it helps you to plan your lessons further. So if you feel there is a particular concept where majority of the students have gone wrong, or if there is a particular concept where there is slight confusion that the students have, you can take up that concept again. This Google form can be used for taking feedback of your lesson. So it's generally a good idea to take a feedback from the students after a particular chapter is over. So you can make a feedback form. If you want to collect data from the students as to the email ID of the parents, or the phone number of the parents, or the address of the student, you can make a survey form. You just have to ensure only when you're going to test the students, at that time you have to make it into a quiz. Otherwise, if you're just collecting the information, you don't have to convert the Google form into a quiz. You just make a normal Google form, and you can use the same one. Now, how do you make your Google form attractive? Now, I'm going to show you all that, how to make a Google form attractive. So I'll go again to share option. I'll share my screen. Okay, the screen is visible now. So I go to the form. Over here, I can add on. So whatever add-ons I have to use, I go to this plate like thing. I choose an image as the header. So there are different options: work and school, illustrations, birthday, depending upon for what you're making the Google form. If it's something related to school, it's always advisable to keep the theme according to what is there for the students. If you're making some interesting Google form where you're checking their food habits, or you want to do anything related to sports or games, then you can select any one of this. So I'm going to take a normal one. Let's take this. I can go to upload and upload my own image. I can go to photos, upload my own, but I'm going to select the ones which are already there. So I'll select the theme. I go to insert. So the image will be uploaded here. So this image will come as the header. After that, I can select the theme color, what is good according to this. So if I click on this, you can see this color of section is changing. So I can select whichever color I want, whatever you feel looks good. So depending on what color you're selecting here, your background colors are also changing. See, in the next option, there are background colors. So if I select this as the background color, my background has become little uh, darker. There are three fonts available in a Google form. If you're using it for testing, we generally avoid that option. But if you're collecting some data from students, if you want to know your students well, just before the academic year starts, you want to know your students well, then you can go for the other options for font style. So there is one font style which is cursive handwriting. There's another font style which is formal, the one which is there already. And there is another one which is playful. So you can select any one of these and you can do it. Preview option I have shown you all. Undo and redo is what you can do. Now if I want to make a copy, I can make a copy of the same form. I can just change few things and I can share it with the students. If I want to add my co-teacher to this form so that the co-teacher also knows what we are doing, you go to the option add collaborator, and then you can add collaborator. If you want, you can also just share the link with people. So if you want to share a link with people, so there are options here. Restricted, only people added can open and view the link. Okay? Or you can say anyone with the link. When you're doing anyone with the link, any person who gets this link has the option to modify your form. So generally, it's better to keep it restricted so people added can share the link, can modify the form. How do you share this form with the students? So you go to send. You can send it via email. So you just put the email ID of the student, or you go to this option. You will get a link here. You copy this link and you give it to the students via mail or in the chat. If you want to shorten this, you click on shorten URL. So you get a short Google form link. You copy this and you paste it. So this is how you can share the form with the students and then your responses can be collected. Uh, the other options available here are add-ons, which we will do in the next session. Uh, I hope you all are clear with how you're supposed to use a Google form and what are the different options available. If you have any doubts related to this, please feel free to put it in the comment section. I would request everyone to share feedback about this session. So I'm going to be putting a feedback link along with this video on YouTube. So after you watch the video, I would request you to please fill the feedback link so that I can make make one more video on whatever doubts you have. So I guess that's the end of the session for today. We'll meet again to discuss about how to use Google Classroom and how to use Google Slides. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.